Does it look like I'm surrounded by a sea of stuff? Well, it feels that way too. And as a care partner, when you start looking at how do I help somebody get from place to place, how do they get from place to place, and everybody's maybe had things in their life before, or you've had some recommendations, this can be pretty overwhelming. So we have three major categories, or actually four here. We have wheelchairs, we have walkers, we have a couple of canes, and I have a rolling shower seat because it gets you from one place to the other. Now, that has a special role. But let's start with what people consider the simplest device, a cane. And I'm going to show you two. These are both quote-unquote medical devices. You know, the old-fashioned kind of cane where you just have the hook or you just have a walking stick. For some people, that can be really helpful. Walking poles, walking sticks, people might be using those already and used to them. If that's the case, then continuing to use something you're used to might actually be safer and more effective than trying to adapt to a different way to hold your hand, a different way to position yourself, and a different way to use a device. This cane is one where you can put your hand down like this, and it will allow you to have a single point, and you can adjust the height. And it has a wrist strap. The challenge with it is, if you're not used to using it as an assistive device, you might just trail it after you, or you might not be familiar with how to use it so that you don't send yourself off balance or do something that actually increases risk. Now, this little sucker, I say that because it's an interesting one. It is definitely different. If you'll notice at the bottom, it actually has 4 points. And for this one, we really have to be sure that the person knows which side it's to be used on, and that they keep it on that side. So this is the inside toward the side of the person. This is the outside. It's designed to be more quote-unquote stable. However, I've got to say, a lot of that depends on the ability and the understanding of the person that's using it and their appreciation for what it can and can't do on an uneven surface. So I would use this with caution, especially outside the home, and especially if there are ramps or surfaces that are uneven or the person is unstable. We also want to think about when is it that the cane isn't really serving well, and we might need to think about something more. I'm going to move these guys out of the way because we've eliminated them. We've decided, no, that's not going to be what we need. So if we've eliminated canes, then we're moving into the area of environmental support that's a little bigger. We could look at modifying environments so people have stable handholds, which for some people that's the best strategy, or railings that they can hold on to go to and from places they care about moving from and to, or replace things within spaces that they can stand, stabilize, and move. But if they're going to be moving beyond those spaces and they want to have some level of freedom to move on their own, these guys are called rolling walkers. There's 3 of them here. Here's one, here's a second one, and here's a third one. They all have similarities, but they have some differences. So these two are very similar. You'll notice the one big difference is the tennis balls on the back. Now, that's sort of a modification that a lot of people put on there because the person is not totally lifting their weight off of the walker. And if you don't lift your weight off the walker and you drag it along, it, number one, makes noise, but it also could scrape the flooring. What this means is the individual is not removing and lifting and moving the walker forward, which may be something to think about if you have somebody who tends to fall backward. But the challenge is, over time, I can get further and further away from the walker, and before too long, I'm pretty far away, and there's a risk of me toppling forward or losing control. So these kind of walkers can be helpful, but they don't have brakes. You got to be the brakes. So we get to this one. Now this one has some advantages. One of its advantages has brakes. Disadvantages, you have to know how to use the brakes. So if I have someone who's struggling to figure out how to use brakes, I'm going to push it along with the brakes on, or I'm not going to put the brakes on when I need to. The plus is I can take a break and take a rest break. But the challenge is this a good match for me and my abilities and where I want to go and what I want to do? You want to have somebody take a look at this with you who knows what they're doing, but also knows your person and knows you, so that what you're getting is a good match for what you're looking for and what it is you're hoping for. Now, let's go ahead and talk about these wheelchairs. I've got some different ones. This is a fairly standard sort of wheelchair. It has these locking brakes. The thing about them is you pull the brake back to lock it. It has a fold-up seat, which means, quite frankly, let me move it over here so you can see it. It's going to cause my legs to roll toward the middle, and it hammocks a little bit. And so over time, what happens is my legs tend to roll in, be together, and because the back also hammocks, in other words, I settle into it, before too long, I'm starting to sit in a C. C sitting means I'm putting a lot of pressure on my sacral area. That increases the risk of pressure sores. It also increases the risk that when I go to get up, I'm going to stand like this and think I'm standing all the way up. And I'm doing this because that's how I'm sitting a lot of the time, and my muscles are starting to adjust to this whole sort of pattern. This is the kind of chair you could think about if you were only going to use it for short term. But if you're going to use it for long term, there need to be some adjustments. We need to do something about the hammocking. And we also want to realize that getting in and out of this chair should be something we should be doing regularly. Sitting in the wheelchair is not something you want to encourage people to do. It's meant to go from place to place, not be a house you stay in 24/7. So let's take a look at one of the adjustments we might make. So this wheelchair is something that is more designed to be supportive. It's got a supportive cushion that's going to reduce that risk of having pressure or shearing. It has elongated brake handles so that I can push down and away, down and away. These do come off if I need to shift that around and put it in a car or transport it. What I also have here is a back that is got some padding in it. So it's going to give me some time to figure out. These armrests can be moved. This chair has a good quality for moving around if I'm self-propelling. There's one other chair here that I pulled out. This one, I would say, is the kind of chair you're thinking about if all I'm going to do is get you from place to place, then you're going to get out and go do things. So for somebody who's got low endurance, has coordination issues, we can use this because it's a quick transport chair. Did you hear that? Yeah, what those were the parts of a seat belt. So you could be seat belted into this seating so that when you're going somewhere, you're safe. When you get there, you're out. Now the brakes on this are all the way to the back and very low. So I'm not even expecting the person in the chair to put them on or take them off. In other words, this person's going to need assist. That was a lot. Ooh, there was one more. I mentioned it early on, and then I haven't said much about it. The rolling shower chair. Now, if I have someone who is not able to move very much at all, this does have a cushioned seat. It has a combination where it does have a toilet insert. It also allows me to help somebody get in the chair and then transport them into a roll-in shower without having to stand up. It will allow me to help clean the areas of the body that need to be cleaned with the person knowing full well that that's happening. The downside of it is that the brakes are on the back, and although they do stabilize it somewhat, it doesn't magically make it super safe. So I want to know that person's mobility, interest, and ability to tolerate me moving around them a lot before I have someone in the shower chair. And if I am going to transport somebody, I certainly want to have my hand on them, not just the chair, as we're traveling, so they know I'm present, because otherwise it can be a little crazy to move through space with a chair when you're not going anywhere.